In the previous video, we saw how we can add two numbers together and then we emit the operation, which is the actual result, which is taking these two numbers, number one and number two, put them in two different boxes, and we calculated the sum, and then we emitted that sum using that return function. So now I want to show you how we can recycle this function again in another function that uses it for calculating the average. So now we're going to define a function. We're going to call average of two numbers, like that. And this function is also going to be expecting us to plug in two different numbers from two different boxes, because we need to calculate their average. So guess what? We already added these two numbers together. We already told the Python function here to emit this result so we can recycle it. So instead of doing the same thing again here, instead of copying this guy and doing it here, that is not gonna be okay. There's only one return value in the function, and we already calculated the sum here. There's no reason for us to do it again. It would be very tedious if this is the idea of programming, not to be able to recycle things that we've done in the past. So look, all we need to do now, let me show you how we need to do that. So we're basically gonna call this function here like that, as exactly we called it last time. And then now we're gonna get these results. We're gonna get these results. This is the sum of, which will be coming from this function here. And I like the idea of leaving some spaces for readability like this. Cramming numbers and cramming variables with signs like that, it's just gonna make your code very difficult to read and for anyone to collaborate with you in the future, especially if you're developing something of significance. So now we gotten the sum here. What are we gonna do with this sum? The sum, if we are calculating the average, then we should take this number, like a sum of 3 and 5 is 8, then we have to divide by 2 to get back the result, which is 4. The division here, symbol, would be that /, and we have to divide by 2 because we're adding only two numbers. If you are going to get the average of 3 numbers, you're going to have to divide by 3. If you're doing the average of 4 numbers, you're going to have to divide by 4, and so on and so forth. But because we're only doing the average of 2 numbers, we are going to be doing divide by 2. And as we also did here, we put the result in a different box. I'm going to be doing the same. This is the average result, AVG result, that will happen as this operation has been executed, which is the sum divided by 2. Now I have the average here being calculated. All I need to do is to emit it, return it to whichever function that is going to use this function in the future. Return the average of, that would be the average result, like that. So now let me show you. If I plug in, this is how I'm going to calculate the average of what we said 3 and 5. That should be giving me 4, right? Sorry, because this is 5. That's gonna give me 8. 8 divided by 2 is gonna give me 4. So I should be expecting 4 coming back from passing 3 and 5 to this function. Remember in the previous video, if you 3 and 5 here is gonna give me 8, and the 8 is gonna be coming here, emitted to this guy here, to this box, new box, and then this new box is gonna take whatever value that you have put in it, which is gonna be 8, and then you divide by 2 is going to emit 4 for us. So now if I actually print the result of the average of 3 and 5 is, and like I said, I like to put these guys here, and now I'm going to get this result that we emitted, and I can save. And what I need to do now is to essentially come here and run And as expected, it basically says, here I am printing the average of 3 and 5, which is exactly 4. I could try another test because, again, we did not design this function to only calculate the average of 3 and 5. This is a generic function that can calculate the average of any two numbers. I can guarantee you we can do 12 and, I don't know, 38. That would give me 50, I think, if I have done it correctly. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this guy here, and I'm going to pass 12 and 38. And I am going to also have another print function here, like that, print statement, I apologize. And the average is for 12 and 38 should be giving me the correct result if I've done things correctly, and I believe we have done it correctly. We should be getting what we are expecting out of this. So here's what I did. I did for you if you're using a Windows machine, you do Control S. For me, I'm using Command S, and then I'm gonna come here to run. And so the sum is 50, and exactly. And when you divide by 2, remember here we have to divide by 2. So the average is going to be 25. That's correct. So the sum of these two numbers is going to be 50 divided by 2 is 50. That's it. That's all you need to do. Thank you so much.